Jim said there's a movie called Cowspiracy.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there totally is.
I don't think it's worth our watch.
When did that come out?
Before this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So this
yeah.
guy's
It's
That
the
just
same-
sounds dumb. Seaspiracy kind of has a ring to it.
No, it sounds like you're saying the word wrong. Almost.
Yeah, that's you. But Cowspiracy,
That sounds dumb.
it kind of sounds
It
dumb.
does. 100%.
It sounds like a third grader made up that name.
Cowspiracy. Yeah, it doesn't flow. Seaspiracy 100% flows.
What was the movie that got real popular? We were probably like early years of college, and they just threw a bunch of names together, but it was like the Sharknado.
Dude, Sharknadoes. Those are actually super entertaining.
Sharknado, the name though, sounds like you're Cowspiracy.
What's
Like
that?
you're just throwing names
They're
together.
super funny.
What's that girl? Oh, they're so funny. What's that girl's name that's in all of them? From like,
Is she like a scary movie chick or something?
yeah, the blonde girl. She's like just been like a just absolute in and out of rehab, whatever her name is.
I don't know.
You said it. It was like, oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
She
It
was
li-
in Van Wilder, wasn't she in Van Wilder?
There's like 3 of them that all kind of look alike too.
You're right.
That I can't.
What the hell's her name? Tara Reid.
Tara
yeah.
Reid, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Tara Reid.
yes.
That's not who I was thinking about because there are 2 others. Like who's the one in like House Bunny or something? She's like a lawyer, but she's a stripper, and then she goes to a sorority. Just the dumbest movie ever
I
made.
don't think I've even heard of that.
Dude, yeah, I don't blame you.
Straight to Netflix movie.
No, I think it was theaters.
Really?
Old, probably like 2007 or something.
Interesting.
Just scary movie type
Okay.
kind of trash humor.
Dude, the first scary movie, dude. How good was that?
There's a lot of like gems in those,
Oh,
but I would
dude.
never call them like good.
The
You know,
first one though was like super funny.
a lot of them are but they just wouldn't hold up to other folks because there's like so many.
It's a generational humor.
Yeah. There's so many culture things snuck in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
There's like little Michael Jackson things and whatever
Yeah,
that
like-
like kids probably wouldn't even know what the hell Michael Jackson's up to.
Like the what was it? The Budweiser commercial take. You know the what's
Yeah. How that was such an
That was
iconic
so
commercial,
niche.
but no one knows
No
that
one
anymore.
would even get that reference probably now that watches some. Young
How
kid.
did
But
Bud-
Airplane is still funny.
Yeah.
Airplane's funny?
I mean,
because it's
but that's
kinda
like a real movie.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Scary
That's
movie's not
fair
like a
point.
real movie.
That's true.
I think that we're having an internet problem because I'm slow here and I'm on the hard line.
There's
Yeah,
another-
screw it.
Did
Just
you see
record.
that new zombie apocalypse show that just came out on Netflix called Dark Summer?
No.
Or Black Summer.
No.
I just saw it when I was watching the Seaspiracy again. It was like the header.
Oh yeah.
It's a new series on Netflix called Black Summer.
I don't like
It looks kind of good.
Yeah, I don't like any horrors and stuff, but for some reason I kind of can do zombies.
Yeah, it's like a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be like at the beginning stages of like a couple months in, I think, for like a zombie.
Like World War
Interesting.
Z-ish. I like that. I like those kind of movies.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's like I guess it's gonna be a series. So I'm
man.
definitely gonna watch it.
I still watch The Walking Dead. To
So
be
do I.
completely
That's why I'm
honest.
gonna
Yeah.
watch it.
I've never watched it, but I heard it's really good.
Sometimes it's not really good. That's a big issue. Is sometimes it's not really good.
And sometimes it is.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rough episodes, and like once you get past like into like seasons like 8 and 9, there's like half of them are really bad, and then half of them are good.
Yeah.
It's like the later you get into the show, like the more common the bad ones are. I feel like.
Fear is good. Fear of the Walking Dead is
Yeah,
good. And
yeah.
the last couple of seasons have been really, really good. It's been better than the main show for the
Yeah.
most part.
That's the LA version.
Yeah,
right? I've
it
only seen,
started
like,
in
the
LA.
First two, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of that.
Okay,
It's on
yeah.
Hulu though, right?
Probably.
it's on Hulu.
I don't know. But they're currently in Texas.
Oh.
And they're some number of years behind the main storyline.
Mm-hmm. Remember, there was a
Now.
crossover character.
Yeah, they caught up long enough for Morgan, who was in
Mhm.
the very first episode
Mm-hmm.
of Walking Dead,
Mhm.
to cross over.
Mhm.
And then there's actually a secondary character who was part of Negan's
Okay.
group who
Oh,
crossed over.
the blonde guy.
Yep.
With the motorcycle.
In the big face burn.
Yeah. Does he have the face burn at this point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mike's like, what?
Yeah, I have no
What-
idea.
what?
I just saw Zombieland too.
Did you?
I haven't seen
liked
that
it.
yet.
I like it.
It didn't suck.
I like Zombieland a lot.
Yeah.
So then I
Zombieland
liked
was-
Zombieland too.
Zombieland was almost perfect.
Yeah, it was good.
Like the timing was really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish we'd watched that movie instead of this movie.
Seaspiracy.
Yeah, Seaspiracy.
Seaspiracy is a documentary that was released on Netflix in this year, 2021.
I think my issue now, I have like no in between. So when I used to watch movies or even documentaries, I'm just looking to be entertained. I'm kind of like a meathead Chad of movies, right? And maybe our listeners can understand that compared to how maybe Dean and Jim watch it a lot more intelligently than me. Like I'm zoned out, just kind of blap me with some shit, some lasers. But then now that we're watching it like this, which I do enjoy because I'm really watching.
Tuned in.
Yeah, it's like reading a book, which I don't do, but reading a book for a book report, you're fucking in there because there's going to be questions. Mm-hmm. Now I hate everything I watch.
It makes it harder to just be entertained for sure.
Yeah, and I question the fuck out of it. The big thing that popped in my head with this and many other, even this one wasn't as nutritional based for health. It's obviously more environmentally based and humanitarian based.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, but a lot of the health stuff I've watched in the past a little more analytical because it's like my job, and I'm like whether I'm trying to learn or pick it apart. And people always blame well, who's the producer? They're paid by sugar, and maybe I don't really care. But my bigger point is that if YouTubers in this day and age fake shit for content, how easy is it to fake shit for bigger profit and bigger scale like this
with a bigger budget?
Huge budget, at least it seems. Did you ever look that up, Jim? We were talking about it.
I can't find it.
It looks
not
like
in
it.
Here.
It's shot really well. Some of the visuals are actually probably the best part of this entire thing.
Yeah,
it's like a really good vlog, is what it feels like. But then they're spewing all this shit, and I just don't. One, there's a lot of random facts he throws at you. These are all my turnoffs, I guess, to start this thing. He throws so many facts. I'm like, I'm not going to fact check this, and I don't know what 10,000 dolphins are like, and what does that mean? And, it took 10 dolphins to grab one tuna, and I'm like, I don't know. Is that good, bad? What's that compared to another boat? How many boats are doing this? What's the average dolphins killed per tuna? Right? He just whips this shit out of nowhere. And then, there's random things where he's in a bush, and he's catching pirates, visually capturing pirates.
Japan.
Doing stuff, and I'm like, is that even real? Or is that did you do, are these people hired? I don't think it's that. I'm not that conspiratorial about it, but you could set that up to look a certain way when it's not a certain way.
Yeah. I agree. Like you said at the beginning, it's kind of hard to just kind of sit back and just watch it for what it is when we do these kind of things. But it's I think one of the things I also thought was a little strange was even if these are legitimate interviews or questions he wants answered, the way that he approached the people he wanted to interview, which is just these bold, hardcore buzzword, not buzzword, but more I guess they are buzzword, but more this aggressive approach, and they don't answer him, and he's like, well, they just want to talk to you because they're hiding something. It's like, well, no, you came in there like a complete jackass.
Yeah.
And you got shut down because you're acting like a lunatic.
Yeah, you're clearly showing beyond your bias, but an emotional bias. I wouldn't talk to you either, you asshole.
No.
So the other thing, that first thing that popped up that I paid attention, because I watched this last year, whenever it first came out. I watched it that week.
It was this year.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what day it is.
It was
early,
March.
Though,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh,
March.
really? Then it's really new. I didn't know it was that new. But I watched it. So this is my second time. I think in the very beginning, he says he's 22.
Yeah, that guy wears 22 pretty hard.
Well...
22 long, hard years.
Dude.
But what's not to play his devil's advocate or give him an excuse, but that maybe shows his no finesse with an interview. Because he's a 22-year-old that's all about the fucking fish, and he's out here fucking fighting. He's like, hey, you kill fucking fish. Tell me you kill fish. That's how his interview goes, And I'm like, all right, dude, let's have hire an interviewer or something. Your finesse is not there.
Work it in, and then get them to accidentally say something that they're
Which makes you think though, how bad he was. There was that one interview of the assistant of the safe fish place that he does get her to kind of say some bullshit.
Yeah,
she said, "Yeah, don't eat fish," and then he brings it to her higher ups, and he kind of gets in trouble. Which makes you think, not that I don't want to insult anyone. Maybe this lady's very intelligent, but this guy's interview finesse sucks, and you're still
fell for it.
Yeah, you grabbed his bait still.
Well, she looked like she was kind of a hippie, she could have been high.
She's just jamming by the ocean all day. Yeah, man.
Actually, that's what I said to myself as I was watching it. I could have been high.
Yeah, seriously.
Eat a little. It did feel. That's why I did like it though. To now put out the things I did like is that it did kind of feel like a Planet Earth type movie because the visuals of the fish and stuff were good.
I think some of that was stock footage.
Maybe, but I enjoy that. Yeah. I love Planet Earth. I do love dolphins floating around and looking cool, and I like that kind of shit.
They were all shot well with good. What is it, 4K probably with drone footage and everything. It looked nice.
It might have been stock or purchased. Or maybe they had the budget and he just went and got
Who knows? There's
Hollywood
literally no
drone.
way without paying for it to get the information on this because it's a Netflix thing, and so
They don't release anything.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
release
why
anything.
is that?
I don't know.
You sketch balls.
But this dude his name is Ali Tabrizi, who seemed to be very offended by what we do to nature, apparently, and that was the whole thing. But this movie is from the same producers as Cowspiracy, which came out in 2014, and another film that you might recognize the name of, What the Health. All of these movies have the same thread, which is everybody should eat vegan.
Yeah, but even that, like, he doesn't go that hard, and maybe
But
because
that's the conclusion of the film.
sure, but
It's
I feel like
lady
it's
at the end.
it's a bait and switch.
I feel like it's not as vegan though as some other stuff I've watched where it's all just anti-seafood.
But I think that's
'Cause-
where they're paying the bills, though.
For sure, but I'm just saying, like, he brings up a ton of points why cow farming and chicken farming isn't even half as bad as fishing.
very
Humanitarily.
briefly.
Yeah. But they tap that in, and I'm like, well, I don't know any of it. The one stat that I did kind of believe, or point that I did believe, is the straw thing, which has been a meme forever.
0.03%
Yeah.
of the plastic in the ocean.
Yeah.
Is a
that-
straw. And
that-
like that has been the topic for 4 years, especially in
And
California.
it was. I think he was spot on this part, as in it was just a buzzword, a marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Something for people to get behind that actually isn't a real problem.
Yeah.
Which is like social media in a nutshell. I think on some things, like not
Twice-
everything, obviously. But
Twice recently, I've had 2 different friends mention within the month probably that they're sitting in their car for less than 15 minutes with it on, and they've been approached to turn your car off by people
What?
like knocking on their window. 2 separate friends that don't even know each other have both told me that story within a month.
because of the carbon.
Yeah, they're like, hey, man, you can turn it off. And like, for all they know, there's a kid in the back, there's a dog in the back. It's 100 degrees out. I'm fucking hot. Oh,
Yeah.
and how do you know how long I've been here? How long have you been spying on me?
That's weird. Yeah. How long have you been watching me in my car?
Just, I guess my point is to the scope of everything.
Mm-hmm.
We got factories around the world burning coal way harder than my little car.
Yeah,
Any of our cars.
most of the vehicles that we drive now, like newer cars, have very, very low emissions.
But even if it
so-
doesn't,
And
it's
if they
a sham.
don't, they don't pass.
even if it doesn't, I bet you like a 1970 fucking whatever, right? That rips coal in the sky. The impact has to be like straws to the rest of this, right?
Well, and the same thing about like electric cars. We were talking about electric cars before we got started here. If you say that electric cars are better, you're ignoring how we get electricity,
Or batteries.
or batteries, or any of those things.
Yeah.
You cannot focus on everything that could possibly be
Right.
bad because you could never do anything.
There's still rubber on my tires. Where's rubber made?
Yeah.
It's fucking gas, electric.
It's all
Like,
comes
it's all
down
the
to
same.
convenience, right?
Right.
Like you
Yeah.
don't want to stop and get gas, then you can get an electric car.
Plug it in at home.
You
Yeah.
want to save money on gas, and then honestly, we can probably get rid of gas as far as for cars, but don't think about the emissions.
Yeah,
Let's-
yeah.
but
Yeah,
here's
it
an
is like a
option for you. That's
side
that's
product,
the
yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh, it's gas is bad. You should all be in electric cars. Like, no, it's like, here's this option where if you don't want to stop for gas and you want to drive an electric car, what's not like
what's
sugarcoat the bullshit?
Yeah, what's the factory that made the electric car? What's their emissions shit?
Terrible, worse.
Whether it's electric or
Yeah,
gas or
potentially.
whatever.
And
right?
the battery part of it is really the worst.
You know the real answer? Make me a car that lasts me more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Don't make me buy a fucking car all the time. Make it customizable so I could get excited about it, and let me have a car for 100 years.
Yeah.
I know that's asking a lot, but
You might be asking a lot.
they say refrigerators now last half as long as they used to.
Oh, it's probably even less than that.
Make me some shit that lasts long, and we'll have less waste.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But
Head over to 3sb.co for clothes that last a long time.
here's the thing: if you're a company that's making those things and you're trying
Oh,
to
of
make
course,
money,
of
you want
course.
them to expire.
Of course, you want them to fucking bust.
You want them to be more
Yeah, of course.
consumable and not even durable goods with that, like refrigerators are classified as durable goods because they last like 5 years.
I
But
think
it used
3
to
to 5 years is what my
10
person. And I bought
is-
a
or
nice
more.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Mattresses, they say to change every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, well, but I didn't do that. We just bought a pad for the top.
Yeah,
of it. I
but the
think
point
we
is,
discussed that.
that's
but-
all this shit. doesn't mean you're just gonna fix it by fucking
It's all.
And then
gimmick words, buzzwords.
and then getting rid of the waste of a mattress is a big thing too.
Yeah,
Is
what
that-
is
we talked about that.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
other week.
Yeah.
You know, we just
It's
go
Highway
out-
5.
Let's go out to Scott Road.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're gonna do it right, like I have to be all stripped down and
Yeah,
you
I
know,
bet. Yeah,
it's
wild.
Is
What an
anybody
idea.
even like taking mattresses?
I don't know what they
You can't
used to
take a
do.
mattress to Goodwill. They won't take it.
The
No.
Boy Scouts and shit used to do stuff like that. I feel like they would do trees, they do mattresses, they do some TVs here and there.
Yeah, I don't know where they go.
Now there's no
honestly.
such thing as the Boy
It's funny
Scouts.
that Goodwill will take your hats and your
Underwear?
and your shorts and your swim trunks,
But they
that
won't
just
take
have-
stuff you
But
slept
they won't
on.
take your mattress.
Yeah.
I think it's bed bugs, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Bed bugs.
Well, what about lice?
Yeah, what about
Yeah.
there's other gross things and other body parts?
There's- yeah.
One
plenty
thing that stood out to me, and this is like you said this earlier, Mike, and it's kind of you just don't even know what the hell to believe anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Like with anything, so it's like these stats he's throwing out, these huge numbers. 80% of the wildlife, 80% of life is in the ocean. You know, 1.6 million miles of waste. 50% of it is fishing gear. Like, how many people are watching this and looking at this and fact checking it? And like, is the real answers even out there to see? Like,
No.
or is it like what? It's like, are you supposed to just
Yeah.
watch these documentaries and just like accept everything as fact? Like, what's the thing here?
So on that, right, especially in 2020, 2021, I think politics and everything aside, everyone's starting to be quote unquote woke and be like, all right, the media lies to us, right? Everyone, and some generations knew it before or whatever, right? Or some people have been more biased or whatever. But journalism has changed. Less rules, less morals. It's clickbait society. So everyone's like, fuck CNN, fuck Fox News. They all lie to me. And then you watch a documentary like this with a little bit more like person-to-person narrative.
And everybody's hook, line, and sinker.
And yep, I stopped eating
all-
sushi last month.
I
all
don't-
critical thought is out
I haven't
the
had
window.
shrimp in months.
Because Fox is supposedly and CNN are these money machines, you're not going to believe them anymore. But Netflix, they're not a money machine.
No,
This
no.
22-year-old kid wouldn't lie to me about any stat, and fishing is just bad. I'm just going to go eat some celery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
And like
way.
I understand the human part of it because this is told in a quote unquote, you know, in somewhat of a better way. It's told with an emotional story. It's an emotional line. That's why I do enjoy documentaries because it's not just fact. It's like story, human connection. He does some interviews with the biggest topic of probably this thing that we'll dig into, human life and all this stuff. And so you get a little wound up. Like, oh, dang, you know, like, holy shit, I didn't know this was going on. And this kid risked his life and the cops are chasing him. Like, oh, my God, you know, where you watch a news story and you don't get that because it's a reporter telling about you or that person doing that thing. Where this guy, you know, is kind of woven into the law.
Yeah, he's one of us.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, he's not
yeah.
like some guy in a suit in a studio.
And he's fighting a cause, and he believes in it, and he's a kid, and he spent his whole life and his money, and you know, and then he's interviewing people one-on-one that you know got stolen, and you know, you're like, oh man, it's just told in such a, and the visuals. Why is it the news camera guys like still suck? Like they can't even like point it at the right shit, and then when they do, it's like a wobbly just point.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys got a budget too. Like hire someone with an arm. Where this is, again, whether it's stock footage or not, they're telling this beautiful story, and they look at that family of dolphins. They're so lovely by themselves, you know?
The family, I mean, actually, the slavery part of it is very distressing, and it's distressing to watch.
Yeah,
It is,
the
for
ending,
Sure. That's the worst part.
where all the slaughtered dolphins.
Yeah.
That was.
Is-
What is that,
disgusting.
Ireland?
I think it was Iceland.
Iceland, yeah. That
Yeah.
that's very disturbing, and it's difficult for people without context to put any of that stuff into context
For
and
sure.
to even know how to feel about it.
The way
Yeah.
they wrapped it up with that scene of all that was like, oh man, I thought I was almost out of this.
Yeah.
And then you just doubled down on the visual,
Yeah.
like brutality.
That's what they do
And like
say
I
at the
wish I
beginning
wouldn't
of
even
it.
have saw that.
Yeah, it's a lot. It really is.
But
just,
that's what it's there for. It's to make me feel sick, to make me feel bad, to make me feel shamed.
yeah.
But then like that guy kind of breaks down their mindset about like the value of one whale brings that community.
That's probably the best interview of the whole thing because it does have a different view of this. And where like most documentaries in any topic, like they're only interviewing for their bias, right? Like, he only showed the people slamming the door on him and not getting interviews. He only showed the one lady misspeaking or being stoned and saying, yeah, stop eating fish. Right? In any other documentary you've ever seen from any topic, veganism, whatever, they'll only show the opposing side looking stupid.
Yeah.
Where this one, that guy brings to a good point. He's like, why would I kill 10 chickens? Those are 10 lives. I'm going to eat one dolphin or one whale or whatever.
Yeah.
That's one life. He's like, who's to put the value and the weight on these things, basically? And I agree. Like,
And from what I'm under the impression of, that annual little thing that they do, or not even annual, biannual. Like, I remember it wasn't every year. I can't recall. But, like, that's basically goes in the freezer, and that feeds that whole town, right? And goes into, like, they're not just killing those for sport, right?
Right. And it looked like, again, who knows, because it's all this documentary, but, like, the waste that they're throwing in the ocean is less. They're not having nets everywhere to kill everything else.
No, they're doing it manually.
They're doing
cornering them into the banks and then cutting their throats.
It's probably a 1,000-year tradition. It's, like you said, it's probably feeding the whole village with not only, like, probably candles and probably, you know, like, people, I who knows, right? I'm speaking on my ass, but people that tend to hunt or do things more in that nature tend to know how to use the animal the best.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it's not like you're just throwing a mile-long net in the ocean, catching every fucking thing, slaughtering it, and getting 3 ounces of meat off that thing.
Or they'd make a lot of a point about bycatch. So it's the stuff that's caught that can't be re-released or isn't released and just dies.
Yeah, and then they just mash it up and chuck it back in the ocean.
Yeah.
That part was a little visual too.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, they like threw it in like some kind of blender and just chucked it off the side of the boat, like, because
what do they call it? Chum?
Yeah, I guess. But they're not like, I don't think they were even using it always to catch more shit. I think they were getting rid of it.
Yeah. Easier to throw off the side.
Yeah. Because they're only supposed to bring in tuna or salmon.
Right, and what else are they going to do with it?
Yeah, there are interesting things that you don't think about. At least I think about in some terms. We talked about a little bit with Icarus and WADA and USADA and how things are self-governing based on where you're from or what you believe in, and how rules could be bent really easy.
Yeah.
And they bring that point up, which is, I would never thought about it in terms of fishing, but it's a no-brainer when they start to explain it, where there's these observers that go on these boats to make sure you're not catching what you're not supposed to catch, and you're not killing what you're not supposed to kill. So then this patch goes on the food, which we all know food labels are all kind of corrupt.
Yeah, well,
or
that's
the
the
organic.
That's the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, the organic thing, the free range thing, the non-antibiotic thing, like all those are all like skewed gimmick marketing words that could easily be bent. Even the Made in America thing, you might know better than me.
Sure.
What's that, like 10% has to be assembled here or something?
I honestly don't know, but I've heard about like some big companies like in equipment as far as like you know, weights and stuff that have stuff, you know, like that's. And people have seen the factories overseas, and like also had stuff made there, and like see their products there, and it's like
somebody tweet us, maybe you might know the rules out there, but I've heard it's like 10%, 10 to 20%. I forgot, but it has to be like quote unquote assembled here. Yeah, so like that could be like stickers and painting. That could be, you know, and then you can call it made in the U.S.
Well, that's one of the reasons why transit trains are so expensive in America, because we have a made in America requirement, but we don't actually make them in America. We just assemble them in America, and our
probably
labor
come by boat.
Our labor is expensive, and the stuff has to be shipped in, and that every mile of track costs an absolute fortune because of the way that we, largely because of our sourcing requirements.
Yeah, the Safe Fish guy was the one, right? Safe Fish or something. He was the one talking about observers being bribed.
Yeah.
Well, then they were being murdered.
Yeah,
his interview was also really good because he just seemed like I don't know if these people are on drugs, but he basically outs himself. He's like, so you can't guarantee it? Nah, I can't guarantee it. He's like, well, why is it on the thing? It says guaranteed, like no dolphins were caught. Yeah, man, like I can kind of guarantee it, but I can't really guarantee it, but I can semi-guarantee it, you know? And he's just sitting there just outing himself. He's kind of laughing about it, too. He's like, well, nothing's guaranteed. And I'm like, okay.
No, and that's, I think that was kind of where he was hinting at. I was like, there's nothing's 100% absolute.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we are doing the most we can to the extent they tell us that we need to do it in order to put this label on this meat, to sell it.
Yeah, but like I can't guarantee my observer didn't get paid $20,000 to shut up,
right,
or killed, or he's like, like at least he was honest, but he was like, it looked like he took a truth serum. That's how bad that like interview was.
I can't guarantee my observer got sick and fell off the boat and not thrown off the boat. Didn't they say something about like 40 people in like the last like handful of years
killed?
Were killed.
Yeah.
Observers were killed individually.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That is
But
insane.
you're also messing with people's like. I'm not saying like obviously I'm not justifying it, but like
No,
I
for
can
sure.
see why some of these like smaller countries that are like this is their whole entire economy.
Even here, bro, it's millions.
Dude, it's
I had
crazy.
some friends I grew up with that had fishing boats in Alaska, and I don't think they were like this large a commercial, but like pretty big. And they would work 3 months and make a lot of money. I don't want to put any of their
Oh
news
no,
out there.
yeah. I
they
mean, if
they
you watch
worked
the
3
shows,
months.
You know what they can make.
Make a lot of money. And then the sons did it all through high school, bought their own boats, and I don't know if they do it full time now. But one of my other friends went with them and the family and said it was insanely hard work.
Yeah,
Like
some
you're
of
a-
these guys work
you-
3 months a year, and that's their whole year's
Yeah,
money.
no, that's
Yeah.
all they did, and good money. And and you're risking your life. You are in some weird ass water in fucking Alaska, freezing, and you're living on a shit boat, but you fucking crush it. So I understand. Same thing. Like, yeah, I would never justify murder, but I understand why these people's livelihood. And one observer, and the observer starts to get weird.
Yeah,
Yeet
no,
him off the boat.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then they showed that other footage of like people being shot and killed in the water.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
shocking that they kind of threw that in there. It's kind of like, oh, here's a quick little flash of someone getting murdered in the ocean.
yeah.
Watch them get shot. You're just like, oh,
Yeah, and that's the kind of stuff like yeah, how'd you get that footage?
that
Not
looked
that
like it
it's
was
set
old,
up,
like
but
someone like I was looking like it was cell phone footage or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Is it from the same event?
is it even the same industry? What if
Yeah,
that's
Like,
fucking?
who knows what the hell that was?
Yeah,
from.
what if those were pirates doing money runs or gas runs or
Yeah,
you know,
that
like
could've
you
been-
don't
that
even
could've been
know
from anything.
Yeah, that's where
There's no
documentaries,
context.
just like news. Yeah, it gets kind of weird. Like because I'm sure there's similar stories with oil runs. Kids based on my little brother used to run an oil boat from like Texas to Maryland, and that's obviously an insanely lucrative industry. Like probably sketchiness going on there too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna hit my notes for a second here.
Yeah.
The did you notice that the animation like recreations, particularly the first one, looked like it came out of Kill Bill? Like
I didn't.
it really looks like the Oren or Ishihi part of Kill Bill.
blood spraying.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
And the music was a little similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. The other ones aren't quite, but they're very in somewhat the same style. They're
Yeah,
not
there
really
was.
not as on the nose. And the raid in West Africa, the music there is a total rip from The Dark Knight.
Oh. Yeah. No, I
Shit.
noticed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that.
You're right.
Yeah. The only thing it was missing was it didn't have the
Which is like
everything else was the same.
Which again, I think goes
funny.
back to kind of my thing about the news versus a documentary.
Yeah.
Because like Fox News, CNN News isn't playing these soundtracks, but music has such an emotional attachment to the
Oh, for
story and a
sure.
human.
Yeah, for
So you
sure.
start to layer that in. You're like, oh, this is dark.
Yeah.
Where CNN could literally say like, 80,000 people got murdered, and you don't feel a thing. But you play that fucking Dark Knight shit. You show 1988 cell phone footage of a dude dying. You play some fucking music, blood splatter, and you're like, oh fuck, dude, 80,000
This
people
is
died.
crazy.
Yeah, this is wild, bro.
What was that other stat they said about 360,000 people have died in some odd amount of years from the commercial fishing?
What were they comparing it
They're
to?
comparing it to the war in Afghanistan.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
was like 4,000 or 20. Yeah, I think 4,000.
Yeah, it was like at least more than 10x.
I think it was 4,000 or so American soldiers died in Afghanistan in like a 10-year span.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they said 300,000 or 24,000 a year.
Die in commercial fishing.
Yeah, but and then they wrap that to that one village that their whole thing was fishing, and now the commercial fishers moved in. They're kayaking out in fucking open water.
Like asking for food off the
Yeah,
off
and
the
like
boats,
dying
yeah.
out there trying to fish because
Yeah.
like their whole
Those are
economy is
added to
based.
that stat.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Did you see that boat they had with like the rope they were pulling?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was crazy.
I think
I
they
don't
were-
know.
I think they're, when they panned out, because I was really looking out, I was like, "What the fuck?" Because first it looks like they're playing tug of war.
Yeah.
It does.
But
yeah.
but when they pan out, the net is on the left side of that little kayak. So I think they're inch by inch pulling the top loop of the net together.
Closer together.
Yeah.
Like cinching it together.
But how crazy is that? Yeah, it looks like 10 big dudes on each side are fucking cranking this thing.
I looked like that boat was made out of 2x4s.
All those boats, dude.
That thing was like,
seriously.
Yeah.
and they had
Yeah.
like their clothes drying like on a clothing rack on the.
And that's
that
what they
thing was
talked about,
crazy.
those type of boats heading out into deep water. Like, of course you're going to die. No
Yeah, you get-
float, no engine. You get tired. You lose a row. Like, yeah,
Get out in the
you're
middle of
fucked.
like a 10-year storm and you're not coming back.
Yeah, you're dead.
They're all
Yeah.
gone.
Where these commercial ones are fucking. The one other thing is the Rebel boat, the fucking shark face boat.
Yeah.
The killers, the
the shepherds.
the shepherds,
right?
Shepherds,
yeah,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
shepherds.
Yeah,
One,
I
that
wrote
boat,
that name in my
that boat
notes.
looks fucking sick with the shark on the front. But how the hell does a company like how much does that boat cost? How did they get that
boat was
fucking
dope.
boat?
That's a multi-million-dollar boat.
Yeah, how do they
Yeah.
do that? I guess just like fear mongering nonprofit GoPro or
It's a
GoFundMe shit.
Non-profit organization dedicated to preserving the oceans.
And
Average of 6,000 dolphins are killed each year off the west coast of France.
I don't want to negate their efforts because I'm all about people chasing something they truly believe, and that's the one thing I do like about these documentaries is, sure, there's money involved, but a lot of these people I don't think would go this hard unless they truly loved the ocean or truly loved to fish, and so I do respect that. And same with these shepherds. But going back to like big picture, little picture, it sounds like they're just driving the ocean trying to ram a boat left and right. I'm like, okay, you rammed one boat. Now there's 100 million other commercial boats. Like,
Yeah.
are you making the cause? That's the straw versus the fishing gear.
I think that when you're that passionate about something, I think that you're like, if no one's gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and that's how I'm gonna live my life. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it.
Someone's got to do it.
I get it, but like, yeah, what change are you really gonna do? And,
That's
and
true.
I'm
And
sure
then
that
I-
the nonprofit probably has other pieces than just the boat. I'm sure they do events and money and awareness,
and
and
probably a lot of fundraising.
rather than just fucking ramming ass boats. But they even the stat they started whip out wasn't that good. It's like, yeah, we destroyed 2 boats. And I'm like, oh, that's all you did?
They're probably
like, you look like you're fucking in the Air Force and you just kind of fucked up 2 boats.
they're actually probably funded by that same company that funds everybody. That Earth.
Yeah.
What was it? Earth.
Yeah, they're probably
something?
connected. Yeah, the mother company.
Yeah,
That literally funds the people that are against the fishing and the fishers
yeah,
themselves.
probably so.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
so.
it's just
Dude,
business.
it's so dirty.
yeah,
dude.
it's just business.
Remember the guy at the expo? They went to that expo. They snuck in with fake business cards.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "How many of your people are slaves that are grabbing
Yeah,
these,
yeah.
like these shrimps and stuff like that?" And
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, none. That's all a lie."
Yeah.
He's like, and then he like kept pressing him with like the same aggressive, like harsh question. He just goes, "Hey, man, hey, that's just business.
Yeah.
business is business."
Yeah.
He like kind of slipped. And you're just like, "Oh God."
Yeah, and they just get so weird. And I do get like huge cameras because I've gotten yelled at vlogging at regular places. People are weird with cameras, like even in a regular restaurant where I just got a little DSLR, and they're probably coming in with fat cameras when they're trying to film like the Shark Tales or the Expo and stuff. So I understand.
It looked like he had a spy. It looked like spy cam footage.
I think he did have some.
Yeah.
I think he
It
might
looked
have.
like a pen or
Yeah,
like
a
had
little
that
GoPro
water
deal.
bottle.
And and then sometimes like even the interviews they'd like shut off the cam, but they kept the audio going. And who knows if that's real or
Is
not?
that even legal?
No, probably not.
Someone asked to turn off the camera. Does that mean that they didn't say turn off the audio so you can use the audio?
Yeah, I don't know how any of
I
this.
don't know.
To even show it, you would assume afterwards they would have to get some kind of permission, right? Or before. You got to get some kind of permission.
Maybe they got it before.
Because if you're
Probably
making
got it
money
before.
off my face, you got to have something.
It depends on how you do it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways around everything.
Yeah,
Apparently.
sketch. But fuck, I don't know where it's going. Oh, so again, talking about like how documentaries could seem weird. I've tried to film at a local restaurant that I was trying to promote. I was trying to say how good their shit was, and they got really weird with me walking in with a camera. So for him to show people being all aggressive with him in a camera isn't like weird.
No.
You know what I mean? Like but they phrase it like, oh, they got to be up to something sketchy back there because they wouldn't let me film. Like, no, man, you got a huge ass camera. You're in a foreign country. You're a 22 going on 40-year-old white dude with a fucking cam pushing it down this poor Japanese guy's face. He's
Yeah.
probably not gonna like that.
No, it was super, like we were saying, it's just like, yeah, you're coming in there super aggressive
Yeah.
with a camera in someone's face saying like, why are you killing animals and not being mad about it? What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah.
Tell me on film.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, everyone's going to be a little bit defensive. The dolphin stuff at the beginning, the Taiji
Yeah.
thing in Japan, there is apparently a better movie about that called
I've heard of that.
The Cove.
Yep.
I've seen The
2000s
Cove, and
Oscar
I've
winner.
also
Blood Cove. I
seen,
thought it was Blood Cove.
and there's also Blackfish.
I don't know.
Blackfish actually I think might be one of the better ones, and it's more wrapped around, and so is The Cove. They're more wrapped around the dolphin industry to entertainment, I believe.
Right, yeah, because
Um,
that's primarily what they're doing it
At
for.
the
They're not
Cove,
really
right?
primarily doing it for meat.
Yeah, and they talk a lot about the money there too. That stuff I can, not that I can't get behind this other stuff, but that stuff I can get more behind because it's like purely entertainment. It does start to get weird to me when you start to, and not even like my moral code, but just like what I can like kind of understand better is the Icelandic guy that's done this for 1,000 years.
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
generational tradition.
and they're actually using it. They're living off it. I do understand more, or maybe have more empathy when you're like, all right, dude, we're just making $100,000 off this poor dolphin that's highly intelligent, highly family based, and you're shoving him in a cage just to make him do backflips to entertain
that
some.
shit's grosser to me than.
Yeah, it's just weirder. Like we could easily eliminate that and still have like American entertainment. We can still take ones that are injured and treat them better, right? Like we don't have to just capture wild animals. That is like the vegan and Mike stands out more, you know?
No, I get what you mean. I'm with you on that too. It's like, yeah, I mean, when you look at the fishing commercially for consumption versus like taking them out of the environment and basically turning them into caged performance slavery.
Yeah.
Like, it's not practical. We just can't not eat fish anymore.
What's
okay,
that
like,
one?
let's
Is
be
it
real.
black dolphin? It might be black or
I don't
black
know.
fish. So that one is a guy that directly does that, and then he goes into the psychology of taking the like Shamu and shoving them in a cage, and then why they're eating humans, because how bad you fuck up their psychology. You're basically torturing these very intelligent animals.
That was the one about all the like SeaWorld deaths,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
trainers and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think I might have saw
It's
it.
a little bit older. It's pretty good too. That guy was on Rogan. The guy who made it, he might be Canadian.
Yeah, 2013 film Blackfish.
Blackfish is
yeah.
pretty good.
Black
too.
Dolphin is a jazz club in Kansas City. So
Pink Dolphin's a clothing
I was
company.
gonna say, yeah, there's an ecstasy pill, or
Oh, really?
no, I think there was. I think there was like a Mac Dre used to talk about it all the time.
Black Dolphin?
No, I think it's like
Pink
blue,
Dolphin?
Pink or Blue Dolphin. I think it was like a Mac Dre used to
That's
rap
funny.
about it a lot.
Bay Area.
Bay Area stuff.
drug-
Bay Area stuff.
Bay Area drug schemes.
yeah. Anyway, the most of what they're catching is for entertainment in China, and they're not mostly not coming here with.
But
it.
they showed a lot of U.S. footage. It looked like,
Yeah.
it looked like
Right.
a lot of like white.
And a lot of
Americans.
people, yeah, that too, and a lot of just like killing. That part, like I do understand too. Like, all right, you're gonna try to capture one dolphin to send them to SeaWorld. How many fucking SeaWorlds are there? And I know there's more around the world.
Well, then-
and then you're killing 20 of them just for no reason.
Well, they were justifying the killing according to this documentary.
Right.
They're justifying the killing as they're getting rid of the competition that is
fish.
killing that is getting their fish they want to fish. Where it's like, do you know that as a fact,
Right.
or are you just saying that, or are they killing those dolphins because they're already right there and they're going to sell the meat to the markets
Right.
and eat them?
Right.
Or are they just leaving? I don't think they're just leaving them in this ocean. Like
No.
that's just leaving money in the ocean.
Right.
And,
People
like,
eat
everything.
dolphin, right? I know people eat
dolphin
shark.
meat.
We don't, but people do.
Yeah. I guess that's the other thing that kind of blew my mind too. And I do know how vast and how crazy our chicken and cow farming is in America, but how much fucking fish do people eat?
Dude, fish is like big.
Yeah, the whole. Well, we'll get to it in a second, but that
Like I
part
eat
of
it,
is
and I
just
know
nuts.
it's not very American to eat fish in general. Like obviously the Mediterranean and Asian countries eat a lot more fish than we do, but the other one
We eat a ton of tuna though.
yeah, true.
feel like.
Sammy's and
salmon.
canned and yeah, I guess just sushi markets, but Mediterranean obviously is highly based. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's where it starts to go quickly into like the vegan stuff. They're like, well, fish isn't even healthy for you. There's so much mercury; it's gonna kill you.
Well,
you
you
need to
should
eat algae.
You should just eat the plants
Yeah.
that the fish eat.
Okay, you're right. I should not eat a cow. I should just
That's-
eat corn and fucking grass.
That's the whole
Yeah.
Derek Poundstone story.
Yeah, but it just got there
The fish
so quick in the
shakes.
beginning. That's the first thing when I watched this. I'm like, okay, like just wear fucking get a vegan tat or like you fuck humans on your forehead right away.
Yeah.
we all like that was within the first 10 minutes. I feel like
Yeah.
that lady started talking about eating algae. I'm like, I'm not gonna eat your fucking algae,
Yeah.
lady.
I just want to throw out that Blackfish is a documentary that the director. I just want to just note the director's name, Gabriella Cowperthwaite. I love that name.
Whoa.
Let's.
Yeah, those are good. Blackfish, I actually think was better than this.
I mean, it probably was. This was. I mean, this was not poorly produced. It was the intellectual dishonesty of it that was the issue.
Yeah, and I guess
and that's my issue with pretty much any documentary
Right.
that we're going to watch about.
no, I think all of them.
nutrition.
Yeah, for sure. But I think other things too. It's just that we're more aware in this space.
Yeah, it's probably so. I got to kind of wrap this one up.
Yeah.
We got about 20 minutes. This is an article from Screen Rant that has 10 things that they think are the biggest criticisms of this movie.
Okay.
So
Let's see if we hit any.
some of them we have already hit, but it's a good framing device for the rest of the episode, I think. The call to action is impractical. So saying just don't eat fish, that isn't. I think it's not practical, and it doesn't really solve anything.
Well, I think I guess it's not practical, and like, how are you going to get the entire world to do that? And
And
then
I think Dean went fishing this week, and he did it in a totally sustainable way, right? I mean,
yeah, but then,
I catch and release, but according to this, he felt all that pain and all that
Yeah.
mental strain.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm still gonna go fishing today.
And the other thing too is like, let's say you could say it is applicable, and we don't do that. Such is life, and there's another. Then we're gonna have to double the cow and pork industry, right? Or add 20%. Yeah, then something else worse is gonna happen.
Or I mean,
let's just all stop.
Or
eating
plants.
food.
Let's say hypothetically, who knows, right? Say hypothetically we get rid of all meat for human consumption. There's gonna be an issue.
yeah. The thing
There's
is,
no way that it's not an issue to grow 1 million more fucking almonds, and there's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, there's going to be, regardless, you can't.
Because then you need more factories to make more almond milk, and then you need more producers to do more, and you need more tractors to do more corn, and then you need, more, like.
And what do they have to do to make almond milk?
Yeah, who knows? A bunch of shit.
I just watched how almond milk's made recently.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where it was, but it was like within the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I saw the process.
I feel
of
like
it.
that's a TikTok-y deal.
Dude, it might have been.
Yeah, there's
It
always
might have
shit on
been.
there. Yeah.
It was like literally like footage of someone making like almond milk. Kelsey's like all over TikTok right now, and it's like
It's
she's
where I
showing
get
me
all my
shit.
information too.
It's kind of like I don't have one at this
Oh,
point.
you got to get one.
I know, but at this point, it's like I'm starting to look at these videos. I'm like, man, okay, I'm learning some shit.
No,
here.
there's some fun stuff. There really is. As long as you're in the right algorithm.
Yeah.
But yeah, or like so then we grow 1 million more tomatoes, right? Or a quadrillion more tomatoes. There's gonna be like more bugs, and then there's gonna be like more disease. Or,
Yeah.
there's gonna be fucking something.
Yeah, there's an impact of everything we try to.
There's gonna be more
change.
gophers, and then gophers shit a certain way, and then the shit does a certain. That's what this movie starts to do stuff like that. Sometimes you're like, well, this shit causes that shit, and then this animal eats that animal. And
Don't
then
they always talk about how many animals are actually killed in the farming of plants and vegetables?
Yeah, 'cause
with
these
by
tractors
by
are
the
just
machines?
flying,
They're
yeah.
just killing all these animals.
that's
in their
like
environment.
like the big argument against the vegan
Yeah.
and the.
Well, imagine being a pescatarian now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Like, that's almost worse.
yeah, if you watch this.
And furthermore, like we know that plants actually sort of have feelings too.
Right, where does
Like-
that line? That goes back to the
Yeah.
Iceland guy, like
That-
chicken
that-
for a dolphin.
That leaves us with air and water.
Yeah,
And that's pretty much it.
yeah.
I
Dirt-
mean,
What was
Dirt?
that M. Night Shyamalan movie
Oh, I don't know.
with the air? The plants are killing everybody through their toxins that they release.
I did not see that.
Huh? The Happening.
Happening.
I remember the
Mark Wahlberg.
preview.
Oh, it's great. I think it's great. It's like it's long story short. Yeah, the plants, all plants in the world have these toxins that they don't release, but because we were abusing our environment so bad, the plants
They turn
are
on
getting
us.
back at us.
I like it.
So they're releasing these toxins that make you basically commit suicide. And like they can, you also like almost feel it and sense it coming. So like they're like constantly running from it. It's a totally insane movie.
Yeah,
But it's good.
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. There's something in there.
No, there's something there. It's
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
it's M. Night
Yeah.
Shyamalan, so it's going to be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Storytelling. Mark Wahlberg. Anyways, sorry.
Mark Wahlberg's in it.
Yeah, he's the main character.
He might get me.
Yeah.
I might watch it.
Yeah.
Marky Mark.
It's good.
Does he ever take his shirt off? That's usually what sells it.
I want to hope so.
Okay, I want to.
can't
I want
remember.
that
Just
too.
Jack Mark and
Yeah.
eating vegan.
I want that too.
Yeah.
Number 9 is vegan propaganda. We
Yes.
talked about that,
Yeah.
and it's really it's a thread that runs into it, but it's really tacked on after like the most emotionally disturbing parts of the movie.
Why is every nutrition doc vegan propaganda?
Because
I've
that's
never
what's
seen one-
trending right now.
But I've never seen like carnivore and keto's kind of trending. I've never even seen one
Well,
of those.
that's cancel culture city
Were
right
they?
there.
Yeah.
if you start making that documentary, we might not see you again.
How funny is that though? Like, yeah, you're 100% right, but the percentage of people that actually strictly eat vegan is probably so small.
Dude, right now though, it's so big.
Bigger than normal, but it can't be 20% of America. No shot.
No. I think also, guys, where we are,
Yeah.
we're in California.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Yeah.
the biggest probably in the entire state.
I
or
forgot-
the entire country.
I forgot where some restaurant of mine. Oh, it was a sushi spot down here. I'd never been. Everyone said it was hella good, and I drive by and it's like plant something. I'm like, what happened to my sushi? So they watched this fucking movie and just switched brandings.
Dude, yeah.
It went plant something.
Which one?
I don't want to put out too many locations. It's
okay.
on R.
Oh,
It's like kind of new.
interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was like, what the fuck? I guess we're in the gym. We were talking about that the other day too. Not to totally go left field. But we were talking about like swatting and like stalking and internet
Yeah.
weird stuff. And luckily, it's kind of lucky that we're not that popular because like now we're here every day and people could find us every day. I'm kind of glad I'm not popular. You know what I mean? Like if I was Mark Wahlberg,
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you where my office is.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Number 8 was it features interviews that were taken out of context, and that's
Life.
Yeah, I mean,
You gotta push
to a
the
certain
narrative,
extent,
right?
that's
Yeah.
probably true. And to a certain extent, if I was portrayed poorly in it, I would totally say that had happened to me as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I think that's
just one of
the
those things.
social media. That's regular news. That's not regular. Like that's just literally that's rumors between friends. Hey,
Yeah.
Jim, I heard Dean say every vegan's stupid. You know, and like you could do that anywhere, anyhow.
Yeah. 7, ignores the existence of sustainable seafood. Now, they talk about sustainable seafood, and they basically just try to say that there's no such thing.
Yeah, one
but I
pseudo
kind
expert
of-
said that, right?
But I also probably agree with that.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like at some extent, like, yeah, you can try your best to be sustainable. I don't think people should quit trying to be sustainable with the thing, but the process itself is impossible to be 100% sustainable.
Yeah.
The way that it's done.
Sure. Well,
For mass consumption.
Right,
That's
so-
just not possible.
Mass consumption is the biggest thing here, and that's why this isn't popular. And it's the same thing why diets that actually work aren't popular. So say we take our regular American food plate, and it's like 30% French fry, 40% burger, and then like probably onion rings or something else of the same color, right?
Tell me more.
Yeah. So, but if we're talking about like true sustainability for human health and potentially the environment too, what if we do flip those odds? So it's 60-ish% of something green. And I'm not a vegan. Cucumber salad, something, fucking some broccoli. You go, another 20% rice, potato, even French fry. Who gives a fuck? It can be fried. I'm not talking calories, just generally. And then the other one,
Air fry.
yeah. And then the other one is some kind of meat, fish, chicken. Doesn't really matter, right? Not only are you going to be probably a better athlete, you're going to look better, you're going to live longer, but potentially that similar moderation of ratio. Again, I'm no fucking ecologist, but you would imagine then that would spread worldwide if hypotheticals, obviously, and our farming would be more even, our cows would be more even, our fishing would be more right. Like,
But the problem with that thing is that it makes too much sense.
right, and we're talking about 9 billion people to build the same habits, and that's obviously money's involved, and how much money you make or don't have, or access and resources. Obviously, 100%. Not doable, but the ratios, I do think there is this miracle of world, and whether you want to believe in God or the Big Bang, I don't give a fuck what you believe in. There's some things that just kind of work.
Yeah, balance.
And so, like, yeah, if balance works for my body to feel good, look better, it probably trickles down to like the balance of what we're taking and what we're giving the environment.
And what you're talking about is basically the Mediterranean diet, the only diet that actually is successful all of the time for basically everything you try to ask of it. You know, and just
Yeah,
There's a word for eating
moderate,
full course meal.
kind of, yeah. But then, what is it based on? It's just based on how Italians and Grecians kind of ate for the last 3,000 years.
And they all look pretty.
Yeah.
They don't work out a ton. They all kind of have good
Yeah,
bods.
yeah, and they walk
much.
more. They maybe they have better public transit. Like there's a lot of things that what would help our traffic, maybe our homeless, maybe all these issues here in California. Like maybe better public transit, so you could work different areas and not have to have a car and all this. Oh, that would also maybe help the environment long term if we had 20,000 less cars and everyone hops on BART or whatever's in the Bay Area, right? Like all these things that kind of help could probably have better effects, but it's
It's a
just
trickle down effect.
But it's just attention to detail. Then there's weird business. There's politics. There's other things.
There it is.
Yeah, there's other issues going
Humans
on.
get in the way of humans.
100%.
Yeah. Next one, it jumps from one issue to another one. That is absolutely true. They do try to pull it all in, but they talk about whaling, they talk about shark finning, they talk about commercial fishing, they talk about plastic waste.
And then like the corruption of these companies and labels are like obviously to tell the story of another thing, but that's like its own story kind of.
And I think that's what you do when you have a documentary and there's no way to do an hour and a half on the one issue that you actually care about.
Right.
So you just keep throwing pieces of it in that are tangentially or marginally related and try to tie them together.
Yeah, it jumps a little bit. Same with the stats. Like he just whips out a bunch of stats and then kind of like jumps, and now he's like over here.
I thought when I first saw the documentary, I thought the whole thing was going to be about the plastic in the oceans and like what's like being portrayed on social media compared to like where the real problem is. And I guess it does cover that pretty much throughout the whole thing, kind of. But then it goes into more specific, hardcore kind of like subjects. But yeah, it's not like, okay, this is what we're talking about. It's like, oh yeah, we're talking about this problem and this problem, this problem.
Compare and contrast it to Icarus, which I actually think is good. All right, he's going to test steroids, and if he performs better, and then he just finds a story and runs that story.
Yeah,
so it does switch. There is like chapter 1 and then 2 through 6 are different.
Yeah.
But it totally flops. It doesn't totally flop because it's still like steroid based, but it basically flops because he found a cool story.
Because it was a deeper story.
And it was
worth-
happening live.
Yeah.
But and that this could have been that. Oh, I found this plastic. Not plastic. Okay, fishing. Okay, slavery. And then just fucking go.
I think I honestly think that I find it hard to believe that they did not try and replicate that style
maybe.
of story.
Yeah.
I think because of the success of Icarus and how the flow went of
Yeah.
like, oh, we're gonna pretend we just stumbled on this like huge investigative documentary.
Yeah.
I think they honestly just tried to rip that off. I even wrote that in my notes. I felt like a rip off, like kind of like they tried to go with that same flow.
Yeah.
Of Icarus of like, oh, we're just gonna like talk about this and like, oh, what's really going on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And to give this guy credit, or all documentary filmmakers, maybe or highly likely some of the police stuff was maybe real. And so when he tried to dig into some of the slavery
just speeding.
and the death, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like maybe he couldn't flush out the slavery story because he was in danger. You know what I mean? Because
Maybe so.
Because if that is a real story, I don't think this guy's dumb enough to be like, well, I'm not going to put that to the world. That won't make me money. Like, he'll be like, no, this is a fucking good story. It would try to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that point. I think, too, that, like, looking at Icarus, if the movie had just been about the steroid scandal, and had not included that opening section, you wouldn't have been as interested in it because he wouldn't have been as invested in it.
Again,
sure.
news story. Like, I was an adult when that happened. I didn't really listen to the Russian steroid news stories.
Yeah.
But you're bought into Gregory's fucking sick. Fogel's, like, kind of fun. Like, you're bought into the emotion of a documentary.
Right.
It feels like you're in it, like
Yeah.
together with them.
Yeah.
That was the way they did that. Yeah, it's compare like having something to compare it to, like
It's good.
in recent mind, like so much better than this
Yeah.
was. Yeah,
Yeah, or Super Size Me. You're
Yeah.
not tied to that guy. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I almost forgot about that.
It's worth forgetting about. Number 5, it cites outdated data, and particularly the thing about the seas being empty by 2048.
Yeah, I didn't
or
buy that
whatever.
at all.
Yeah, I don't think anybody buys that. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, what does that mean? Because then you hear other
What?
stats, right? Like we haven't even
what?
explored 70% of the ocean.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
then you're
yeah.
like, well, how do you know that part's going to be empty? Like, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah, that's because it's total bullshit. Yeah, I remember that part, and I was like, I even gave it like a double take with like,
Yeah, he
Huh?
just doubled down on shock factor.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
that's
that-
not true.
shock factor is really what this whole
Yeah,
documentary is about. Is to try to shock you into a behavior change and to realize that to feel as though there is a solution that you can act on by just not eating fish. This one, number 4, it lacks balance, and I think that's every documentary,
Yeah.
regardless.
It's just
Period.
hard to
Yeah.
make a good documentary.
Yeah.
It is.
Like, I wouldn't want to have to be in charge of that.
Yeah.
I'd rather sit back here and just talk shit about it.
I think Icarus does it okay because we're American. And it's America versus Russia.
Yeah.
And so then, like, we're obviously on the side of Fogel and fucking Gregory. You know, like, it's a
Right.
little bit easier. Like, Icarus probably wasn't well received overseas.
Oh, probably
It's
not.
probably not the
Probably-
Russia. It
probably
probably wasn't.
banned.
Yeah, probably wasn't Russia top 10 Netflix.
Yeah.
You
like,
know?
like the problem that all of Hollywood's having with China right now. You can't say anything that might be even remotely critical of China
Yeah.
in a film if you want it to open in China.
Right. Which
Or
has
you
a
have-
billion people to watch
Or you have
it.
to kind of. I actually saw a proposal the other day. It's like as Americans, we should be behind maybe our tax dollars going to these production companies to compensate them for not releasing their films in China.
Well, that's,
you know?
that's where the only place that was even showing movies
Right.
until like
Right.
about a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like that's where all of Hollywood's money was being made.
Yeah,
because
we've had
Hollywood was
no-
shut down for a year.
Yeah, we had no new movies.
We had nothing. They're all as being the ones that were being finished and aired in theaters were going straight to China.
Next one, fishermen were left out of the conversation, and I think that's largely true.
Yeah, like you could easily get a perspective of it like this is guy's done it for 30 years. It's his only life. Like to build empathy around the other side.
Yeah.
Like this is his only job. It's how he feeds. You interview him and he's got a family. He's got kids. He's got to provide for them. Like you end all this. Now what's this guy going to do?
Right.
You know? And he's not out there stabbing dolphins in the eye for fun.
Like
Like
what about the guys on Deadliest Catch? You know,
Yeah.
that doesn't look too inhumane. To
Yeah.
me. Like that
No.
looks like
That looks
just
like a job.
It looks like a job
Yeah.
to get people fed that want seafood. It
Right.
didn't look like it was this brutal thing.
Right. But you
Yeah.
put
they
the
don't use nets.
They're not
They
using
use-
nets, using a cage.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
put the Dark Knight music and you put them viciously
And you
killing
can
a
make
few.
You can make it look
Yeah,
terrible.
and there are probably vicious ones. There's probably some assholes out there that don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about anyone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. But that's also just the world.
I think this was related to the last one. It ignores some of the good practices.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Definitely did that.
They didn't really kind of allow that was even possible, and what other mitigation strategies that are going on from fishermen who are trying to. I mean, if you think about it, fishermen want to keep fishing.
Of course. Yeah, they don't want it to be empty by 2040 either.
Right. That doesn't benefit them.
Yeah.
And they can be short-sighted, but like not that short-sighted.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And I don't know.
Or at least the organizations or the higher ups or the captain. There's somebody thinking about it.
Yes.
Because we fished for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, I think, like you said, it's just so biased to that extent, you just can't take any of it seriously.
Yeah, and but how sad is that? I think people do. I remember Twitter going nuts about Seaspiracy, and I think it was kind of the flip of like, oh fuck, this slavery death thing's pretty wild.
That was the.
It is
honestly,
wild.
That was the thing I didn't even know about.
Yeah,
But like totally can see now. Like,
and the
holy shit! Like we're probably eating food that's being slave laborers bringing this fish to our table.
I felt like that
And
one
that's totally
too.
fucked.
I felt that one wasn't that shock factory either. Like it was obviously because of slavery and death, but like how the one guy told the story and they did the mini animation.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I just had a couple drinks with the captain, and then I got on the boat with the captain,
Mm-hmm.
and then the captain just kind of like was
groomed
rude.
him.
Well, then and he's like, then he was just kind of rude. Then he would kind of throw water on me when I was not working hard. Then he started threatening me with guns. Like you could see the evolution of like, oh, maybe that is real, rather than you just said like held at gunpoint, stole me. And then you're like, okay, is that happening? But you could feel the hey, man, you want to grab a drink? Oh, you want to make some money? Yeah, I own a boat.
Yeah, gotcha, yeah.
Yeah, come on my boat. I'll give you 10 grand a summer, and then you just kind of.
It's the
All of a
frog
sudden.
in the boiling water.
Yeah.
Then those guys were on those fucking boats, dude, for
7 years, he said.
7-10 years without coming to shore. Like what?
Yeah.
That was
Because the
just
boat would
one
probably
of the
go
most
to.
disturbing things I've heard.
Yeah, the boat would probably go to shore and you just keep you locked up. Because they'd have to deliver a fish or something, right?
Right.
They'd have to
They-
get
They have
supplies.
to go to the dock. You have to go to the shore. Obviously, that's how these guys escaped.
Well, yeah, eventually. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they said how many people are trying to escape or take their lives or.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, that was brutal.
And then and not to I don't
That
want
was Thailand, right?
I believe mostly Thailand.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to downplay that either, but like is that one corrupt boat or is this like all fishing in Thailand? You know what I mean?
They
like
didn't really scratch on that.
they didn't
They
even-
made it seem like this is all of Thailand.
but they didn't they didn't even semi-mention.
Yeah.
So you're like I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah, it wasn't given the kind of context that would need to have if you were really going to understand what was
Right.
going on.
Right.
The last thing is the true cause of ocean plastic pollution, and they're talking about it. Oh, it's fishing gear, it's nets or whatever,
Yeah.
all that stuff. Because the big garbage patch, so much of it is fishing gear. But
46%, they said.
the deal is that stuff doesn't break down.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that's really like the widespread pollution is the microplastic stuff, and
Yeah.
that's consumer stuff that does break down,
Sure.
That we're putting in our bodies,
that we're putting in our bodies. Yes,
causing cancer.
yeah, whatever. Like
Yeah.
that always kind of reminds me of the fact that a really, really high percentage of people in America have a little bit of the Scotchgard molecule in their blood.
I believe it.
Believe it.
Just shit.
Yeah, because it's a solvent, so
Yeah.
it just kind of goes right into your
Yeah.
bloodstream.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, shall we
Yeah.
wrap this one up?
We need
with
your
a-
helps, folks. Hit us on Twitter, Instagram, wherever. Let us know what documentary or movie you want us to tag down. I do think documentaries are good because it opens discussion on things that kind of matter. Like, it would be cool to fucking talk about Lord of the Rings because I like Lord of the Rings, but, like, we're not heading anywhere with it. And just the discussions are more, like, then become, like, a review critical, where this is,
Yeah.
like, review critical and, like, some deep shit. But if you guys want us to watch a fucking movie, we'll watch a movie. So hit us up. Let us know. Plug away, Dean. Where can they find you?
Yeah, Dean, Storis.ck, CaptainAkilos.com. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3sb.co. Check out all the clothing. Big sale coming very soon. So stay tuned. 3rd Street Barbell on Instagram if you want to get news on that. I'm Solid Mike, anywhere you want to find me.
On thirdstreetbarbell.com, spelled either way you want to spell it. For information on the gym itself, I am at the Jim McD on all the social medias. And this show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. And we're going to be back with you next week.